Developing tonight, two big stories involving the White House frontrunners from both sides of the aisle. Newly released emails from Hillary Clinton's private server raising new questions over her health. Back in December 2012, Mrs. Clinton suffered a serious concussion, and now we see an email from a month later. Critics say it showed Mrs. Clinton was confused. She wrote to a top agency official, quote, "The Brits have just called for their citizens to leave Somalia. What's our position?" The response, "We have a long-time published travel warning against all travel to Somalia." It was updated last month. Plus, a possible war of words starting tonight between Donald Trump and a GOP candidate who is rising in the polls, Senator Ted Cruz.
I don't think it's good advice for us to get in the business of blasting each other. Now, I do think, let me be very clear, I don't believe Donald Trump is going to be our nominee. I don't believe he's going to be our president.
There's only one way you get to the top, and it's all through Trump, let's face it. Even I think Cruz is going to have to hit me because, you know, he's a nice guy. At some point he's going to have to hit me, right? It's going to be a sad day, but we will hit back, I promise.
Marc Thiessen is a Fox News contributor and a former speechwriter to President George W. Bush. Bill Burton is a former White House press secretary for President Obama, deputy. Okay, great to see you both. So let's just start with Hillary Clinton. Mark, what exactly is the issue? We know she had a concussion. So what is the issue raised by the emails?
Yeah, it's not so much that she had a concussion and whether she's fit for the office. It's that she misled the American people about her condition. I mean, on January 7th, State Department spokesman Toria Nuland said when she came back to work that Clinton was fully recovered. 19 days later, we now have an email from her closest aide, Huma Abedin, confiding to another Clinton aide that Hillary was often confused on the job. And this comes on the heels of, I mean, you can't be both. You can't be fully recovered or often confused. It's one or the other. And Bill Clinton revealed earlier this year that it took her 6 months to recover, of really hard work to recover from this concussion. She came back on the job 1 month after the concussion. So the issue isn't so much whether she has a traumatic brain injury or that she's not fit for the office because of her health. It's another example of Hillary Clinton misleading the American people about, in this case, about her health.
I am in perfectly good health. I am often confused. I mean, I'm not sure that the case has been made, Bill.
You know, I think that, I just think even listening to Mark, who I sometimes even agree with, that if you look at this controversy, it shows the state of the whole email situation. If this is the best they can do, pull out an email from an aide saying that their boss is often confused, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a boss across America whose aides don't say that they're often confused about something or another. And this is a woman who's running one of the most important, has one of the most important cabinet positions in the entire country. So, of course, she's got a lot in her head. Of course, she's not going to know every single travel warning that goes out about every single country in the world. But, you know, I think that you'll see whether or not Hillary Clinton is confused when you see her on the stage debating.
All right, let me ask, while we talk about Hillary Clinton, let me ask you, because she's coming out with a new ad, and I think it's fair to say is playing the gender card pretty explicitly. Watch part of it.
Dear Mrs. Clinton, my name is Scout and I'm 9 years old. I'm so excited I have a chance to become the first woman president. Because from George Washington to Barack Obama, it is ridiculous that there have never been a female president before. 44 boys is too many.
44 boys is too many, Mark. So let me start with you on this, Bill, actually. Can you imagine President Obama, when he was then Senator Obama, doing this with race?
Well, I think it's indisputable that it would be a big deal for both little girls and little boys to see a woman president of the United States. I will say that little girls' math is wrong, though, because there's only been 43 presidents.
Right.
One served twice, which is why President Obama was 44. That aside,
Stupid kid.
I'll take the attacking little girls off the table. But no, look, it is a big deal if Hillary Clinton is elected president.
Right, of course it is. But it was a big deal when we had our first black president in your former boss. And then, you know, can you imagine him saying 43 whites is too many? It's supposed to be not so on the nose.
It's hard to even respond to, but the truth is, it is kind of too bad that there has been 43 presidents that haven't been women.
You tell me, Mark, whether we all know she's a woman. We all know she would be busting that ceiling.
Yeah, you know, I was shocked by the news that Hillary Clinton would actually be the first woman president. She hasn't mentioned that before. I've never heard her say that. This is breaking news. We need the Fox alert. Hillary Clinton would be the first woman president.
All right.
Maybe that might be a theme of her campaign.
Let me shift gears with you to Ted Cruz and Donald Trump. I don't know if officially the bromance is over, Mark, but Cruz for the first time is saying Mr. Trump is not going to be the president. He's not going to be the nominee. And this comes as he's rising in the polls in Iowa. Coincidence?
No, not a coincidence, but I don't think we'll have a full-fledged food fight. I mean, I think what Ted Cruz has been running a brilliant political campaign. I mean, he's stayed under the radar. He's stayed out of the food fights. He hasn't attacked Trump. He's slowly been building his base. He's been courting the evangelical vote, and while not attacking Donald Trump. And I think he feels that he is the candidate who is now he's in third place, tied for third place nationally, tied for first in Iowa. I mean, it's working. And he's the candidate who's most natural to pick up the Trump voters, supporters who might defect from him because he hasn't attacked Trump, agrees with him on the issues, and also can claim to be an outsider who's hated by the GOP establishment. And also he's positioned to pick up Ben Carson supporters because they're mostly evangelicals. So he's the guy most likely to pick up anyone falling away from the two frontrunners. That puts him in a really strong position.
Bill, do you think obviously you're against all these guys, but do you think there is a realistic nomination that Ted Cruz could become the GOP nominee?
I've actually thought for a long time that there is a path for Ted Cruz, which I think is pretty good news for Democrats, because I think that what Mark is saying is right. I think that he picks up folks who decide that Carson isn't ready for the job and that Trump is not the serious enough guy for the job. And for the breaking news today is that for the first time I actually agree with Ted Cruz. Donald Trump is not going to be the nominee of that party.
Okay, but wait, let me ask you about that. Why do you think that? Because he's leading in all the polls, and today we had reports that the GOP establishment is now going to say, all right, we got to do something about this guy.
Well, you can look at the math state by state and see like where is Trump going to win. He may be up now, but the polls in November and December are not exactly indicative of where they're going to be in January, February, and March. But secondly, just look at American history. Never in the history of our country has a major political party picked someone like Donald Trump to be the head of their party, someone who doesn't have any relevant experience, someone who's the most hot-tempered, kind of a jerk candidate in the race. Americans actually are used to picking mostly nice guys to be the nominee of their party, Richard Nixon excluded. But besides that, I just don't.
He always gets one in, doesn't he? He always gets one in, Mark. All right, I got to leave it at that. Great to see you both.
Thanks, Megan.
You too, Megan.